Good morning. Welcome to Saturday morning's daily Devo. We are in part four of um, the four practical daily ways to rediscover Jesus. That was reading the Gospels 15 minutes a day, cycle through them, but in different ways. Practice the prayer process, deny yourself. And then number four is practice spontaneous prayer. Now, oddly enough, this chapter turns out to be the longest of the four, practicing spontaneous prayer. So as much as I hate to do this, we're only going to do about half of it on this Saturday, and you're going to have to hold it in your memory banks to finish up the rest on Monday. All right, here we go. Spontaneous prayer. God delights in conversation with you. We spoke already about a time dedicated to prayer each day. The second aspect of our daily conversation with God is the spontaneous turning to Him during moments of the day to thank Him, to ask Him for help, guidance, encouragement, or simply to recognize Him at our side. Better yet, recognize that we're at His side. The second type of conversation tends to spring forth from the first, more focused time set apart for prayer. There are some people who will say, I don't have a set time of prayer each day, but I'm constantly speaking with God throughout the day. It has been my experience that these people are deceiving themselves in a number of ways and making little, if any, spiritual progress. The daily casual conversation with God tends to be kept alive by the focused time of prayer each day. When we neglect our daily prayer time, the casual conversation becomes less frequent. If we neglect our daily time of prayer for long enough, the casual conversation throughout the day will die out almost entirely. The exception being those astounding moments in life that force us to our knees. The richness of our spontaneous conversation with God flows from having a time set aside exclusively for prayer each day. This spontaneous prayer can become one of the great joys and comforts of the Christian life. The first Christian prayers provide fabulous insight into how we develop a rich, spontaneous prayer life. The opening chapters of the Acts of the Apostles, we read about the first Christians, but I'm not speaking here of the prayers of the first Christians, but rather the first Christian prayers. It would seem to me that the first Christian prayers are the words that the various characters in the gospel spoke directly to Jesus. They provide a prayer for every occasion in life. And perhaps every prayer that has been uttered ever since is just a variation of one of these first Christian prayers. Let's take a look at some. One of my favorites is the second prayer of the blind man Bartimaeus. Hearing that Jesus was passing by, he began to cry out, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. His cry for mercy was his first prayer. The crowd told him to be quiet, but he cried out all the more and all the louder, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Here Bartimaeus is teaching us one of the fundamentals of prayer, persistence. Finally, Jesus summoned the blind man and said to him, what do you want me to do for you? Bartimaeus replied, Lord, open my eyes so that I may see. This was his second prayer. You find this in Mark 10:46-52. I think I've probably prayed this prayer a million times in my life. Lord, open my eyes so that I may see. That is a good prayer. I pray this one all the time, over and over, 100 times a day when I'm trying to make a decision and I need light, guidance, and wisdom. These first Christian prayers are both fascinating and immensely practical. There are two great professions of faith in the Gospels, Peter's and Thomas's. Each is a prayer unto itself. We've already spoken of Peter's profession of faith in the region of Caesarea Philippi, where he declared in answer to the Jesus question You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God, Matthew 16:15. Now let's explore it from another angle. When was the last time you consciously acknowledged that Jesus is the Messiah? When was the last time you said it? When was the last time you said it out loud? When was the last time you said it to Jesus? We all need to profess our faith in Jesus regularly to keep things in perspective. The other great, the other great profession of faith is that of Thomas. Absent the first time Jesus appeared to the disciples, Thomas became the great doubter. When Jesus appeared to them the second time, Thomas professed in awe, "My Lord and my God," John 20:28. This phrase has also played a rich part in my faith journey. In the church of my childhood, there was a small banner behind the altar with "My Lord and my God" embroidered on it. I saw it every Sunday. It's a small thing, but those words became engraved in my mind and then in my heart. There are hundreds of these first Christian prayers as you make your way through the Gospels. The leper said to Jesus, "Lord, if you choose, you can make me clean," in Matthew 8:2. The centurion asked Jesus to cure his servant. "Lord, I'm not worthy that you enter under my roof, but only say the word and my servant will be healed," Matthew 8:8. During a storm out on a boat, the disciples turned to Jesus and said, "Lord, save us. We are perishing," Matthew 8:25. In the prelude to the feeding of the 5,000, the disciples said to Jesus, "We have nothing here but 5 loaves and 2 fish." How often we come to Jesus in the same way, having so very little to offer in a situation. But just as Jesus said to the disciples, he says to us, "Bring me what you have." I like that. That'll preach. Matthew 14:17. Jesus can work miracles with the little we have if we bring it to him. Peter teaches us another great lesson through his humanity. In the scene in which Jesus came walking to them on the water, Jesus beckoned Peter to walk out onto the water, which he did. But Peter became distracted and took his eyes off Jesus. He became frightened, crying out, "Lord, save me," Matthew 14:30. In the same way, when we take our eyes off of Jesus, we begin to sink. And yet, often when we are sinking, we don't have the wisdom to cry out, "Lord, save me." That's only half. We'll be back again with the rest on Monday. Lord willing, we'll be back with the rest on Monday. Think about these brief prayers mentioned here. Maybe one of them particularly caught you because the Holy Spirit said that's what you need to be praying. Get to worship tomorrow with other believers. Feel the fellowship. Feel the power of united worship together. Blessings to you today.